Hey y'all, Chef Horton here. Tonight we're going to talk about Roux, R-O-U-X. Roux is what we use to thicken sauces. We also use it without even knowing sometimes, like on sausage and gravy. Take for example, when you're making sausage and gravy, for biscuits and gravy, you have your sausage which has fat, and then you'll add your flour and then your cream or milk to thicken, and the roux thickens it up. So roux is a thickening agent that we use to thicken sauces, soups, stuff like that. It is equal parts fat plus flour by weight. So our fat that we will use tonight is butter. Remember, the best butter to use would be clarifying butter, because clarified butter is butter that the water and milk solids are taken away. So if you have butter and you heat it up on low heat, there comes a foam on top. That is your milk solids. We will skim that off. Then we'll ladle out the fat. We don't want to go all the way to the bottom because that's the water. So the water separates to the bottom and the milk solids to the top, and we just want to use the clarified butter. So equal parts flour and fat by weight. There are three types of roux: white roux, blonde roux, brown roux. They're based on the cooking time and the color. So the longer you cook the roux, the darker it gets. We want to use a dark roux for gumbo. That's a good use for that. Gumbo, it thickens it up, but it has a nutty flavor. It's dark, dark roux. White roux is real light. It's getting the flour and stuff mixed up in there. The flour that you want to use, you can use AP flour, which we will use tonight. But the best flours to use is pastry and cake flour, because they have a higher percentage of starch. You need a heavy saucepan to start this. When you cook the flour in fat, it coats the starch granules of the fat and prevents them from lumping together or forming lumps when it is cooked into a liquid. When you add a roux to a liquid, you want to go cold stock to a hot roux, or room temperature roux to a hot stock. So cold stock, hot roux, room temp roux to a hot stock. So remember, always in the kitchen, after everything, touching everything, after you do everything, especially during this pandemic that we have, wash your hands. You want hot water, as hot as you can stand, about 110 degrees, and you want soap. And you do that for about 15-20 seconds, about 20 seconds, good, and you get it good and ready. Clean your hands, fingers, fingernails. Dry your hands and turn off the faucet. So first thing that we're going to do, we have our butter. We're going to put our butter in our saucepan. Let it start to melt. Once it all melts, we'll add our equal parts flour and combine that. Once we combine our equal parts flour, we get our roux. Remember that I say the three types of roux. There's white, blonde, and brown or dark roux. And this is based off cooking times. So the first roux we get to is white. Then blonde, it gets a little bit darker, a little bit stronger flavor. And then the dark or brown roux is the darkest, almost like burnt. But you don't want burnt. You want that strong, rich flavor and color without a burnt taste. So you want it to go, but you don't want it to go so far. Tonight, what I'm going to do with this roux, once we get this roux going, I'm going to take the roux, add some milk to it, and make like a gravy, like we're making biscuits and gravy. I'm going to add bacon, and I'm just going to make a bacon gravy tonight. So we wait for our butter to melt.